afternoon to you. And two things that Mr. Malema said a little earlier today. One, that she was a person who never looked down on the poor masses and black people in South Africa. Secondly, saying it was the president, or she was the president, that this country never had. Are those accurate sentiments in your opinion?
Well, she was a true shoulder to which the poor all over the country used to cry on. You remember that Winnie was typical. Every time our people were going through some form of a tragedy, a massacre, a killing of young girls, women, a killing of workers in the hostels, a murder of our people during the funerals, during the tragedies of post-1990 violence in Gauteng. The traveler in KwaZulu-Natal, in the Midlands, where our people used to need a person that they can relate to. She was there. Every squatter camp, every informal settlement, every black residential area. She was just something absolutely special for the poor. That's why I think Julius Malema is so spot on in describing her as the person that could relate with the most marginalized in our society.
Mr. Vavi, as you rightly point out, this uncanny ability and empathy to be at the right issue at the right time. But if you could take us one step further, so she would arrive then on the scene of an incident, whether it be a massacre, some sort of tragedy that the people were experienced. How then, in your recollection, would she then engage with the community?
Unannounced, Jeremy. She would not tell the press first that I will be at place so and so at 4 o'clock. No. As soon as she would have heard that there are people that have been killed, she on her own would just get into her car and drive straight there and arrive unannounced. So she was always a surprise package to our people. I remember this very vividly. I was a regional secretary of COSATU in the Western Transvaal region, then it was called, which included the Vaal area where the violence started in the post-1990 period. And I don't know how many times we had to call her and to say this has happened. She wouldn't say that, look guys, I'm coming. She would just arrive. I know the emotions our people used to have every time she just speeches. At the roadblock, she will bulldoze her way through, and no police could stop her, screaming on top of her voice and wanting to be the first to arrive, the last to leave every time there was a tragedy. And you look, when our people say that her name will be etched in a very special words, letters, diamond. They mean that from the bottom of their hearts. Winnie was very special to the working people, the marginalized members of the black communities. She was everything to them.
Mr. Vavi, it's undeniable that she was a complex character. You'll also be aware that over the past 24 hours, there's been a lot of jaundiced coverage, particularly from global media outlets. I suppose that is to be expected?
And unfortunately, yes. There are people who, even when there is a death, remembers the negatives, the ugly, the dark pages in anybody's pictures. And there are such pages in the life of Winnie Mandela, just like there are such pages in the lives of every person who lives there. There's no angel walking on the earth. The angels are in the heavens. So yes, Winnie was not dodged by kinds of controversies that we saw from the days of Tombisi Bay to the Nelson Mandela Football Club and the divorce and all of that. But look, when a person dies, we don't remember those things. In fact, we suppress them. What comes into the fore of our minds is the contribution, an unparalleled contribution that she made in the struggle for freedom and democracy. That's what we will want to remember her for. We'll remember that she was one of the first women to spend 1 year, 6 months in solitary confinement. a woman that was banished in Brantford, a woman that was in and out of prison, a woman that was being raided by police left, right and center, who never saw peace, a woman that was forced to resign in her professional job as a social worker, the woman that confronted the police in the streets when they were detaining and shooting our people, the woman with guts, a gallant fighter, and whose beauty was just so striking that you could imagine that she will have time to do all of the things that she did for our people, and others would have been looking after their faces in the beauty queen's competition. No, she was not like that. She had no time, in fact, for those type of things. She fought and raised the women's struggles flag so high. I wonder if in our country there will ever be a person so passionate about the situation our women are facing as she was.
And Mr. Vavi, you in fact raise my final question. That legacy of powerful activism that she will be remembered for, do you think as we have moved beyond 1994 that particular element is now missing from the South African political sphere?
There's too much armchair critics now. There's just too many people writing papers and wanting to appear on television and never do anything on the ground. She was different. She was where our people are. She was an activist par excellence. She was prepared to dirty her hands in building the organization. The ANC Women's League was at its strongest when she was its president. It was more united when she was its president, and she gave it the vibration, the voice, and the importance that every member would want to feel when he belongs or she belongs to an organization. I think that I know that Winnie was aging fast and that she couldn't do all of the things that she used to, but one thing we should remember, even in this controversy of Jacob Zuma, and as an initial supporter of President Zuma, once she could see that things are turning into the opposite of her wishes, she spoke out and questioned the ANC as to why it kept on voting him in and in when people were so disgusted about the style of leadership and the issues that he subjected the ANC to. He was absolutely full of guts. Nothing was too controversial for her not to raise her important voice.
And I do appreciate the honest recollection and analysis. Zwelinzima Vavi from the South African Federation of Trade Unions on the line to Newsday. We're going to check in now.